Hey guys, Lisa from Hello Happy here, and today I'm going to show you how to turn your questionable looking mini microphone into this goofy little guy. The goofiest. It's breezy out here. My goal was to make a bear, and it's mostly kind of sort of a bear. He's very scrunkly. Personally, I'm not going to hold... Oh, what's that? Oh, you didn't hear that either? Yeah, that's because apparently my microphone battery died. Turns out when you have rechargeable things, you have to recharge them or they stop working. So here I am to re-record the whole video. Yay! And now, before we begin, a word from today's sponsor. Just kidding, I don't have one of those. But before we do actually begin, this is a continuation of a previous video, which I hopefully can link here. It showed you how to make just the spherical part of this windscreen. So this video is going to show you how to make the ears and the rest of the face. So go watch that video, and then come back here to finish your creature. Okay, and one final warning. It's a warning, sort of. This is going to be like a fairly bare bones tutorial. Like, I'm making this assuming you have some sort of arts and crafts background. So I'm expecting you to kind of take this video and run with it and use whatever materials you have on hand to create something in a similar vein to this, but not necessarily go out and buy everything that I specifically used and create like a one-to-one copy. If you don't really know how to like hand sew stuff or anything like that, you're going to be like, huh? That said, if you have any specific questions about like how to do any of these things, ask and I can make a video for the future. With all that out of the way, here are the supplies that I used to make my bear. Let me scoot over. First, the same yarn as before. However, you can use a different yarn and have like a contrasting color and texture thing going on with the ears and the face. And I used an 8mm crochet hook, yarn needle, and scissors, regular old sewing thread along with a needle, and I used that to embroider the nose and the mouth as well as sew the mouthpiece onto the bear. For mine, I only used black thread, but you might want to use some other colors like pink and brown, so do whatever makes sense. I used acrylic felt to make the mouth. You could also use felt to make like inner ear shapes. And lastly, you will need something for the eyes. They need to have flat backs, so no safety eyes. You can do buttons or beads, you could use felt, you can embroider, you can do what I did, and I used scrapbooking brads. And if you haven't been crocheting for that long, you're like, what the hell is that? Well, like a decade ago, they were kind of popular for like really small stuffed animals. But then I feel like people started making more patterns targeted for kids rather than collectibles for adults to put on their shelf and just admire. And scrapbooking brads are absolutely not child friendly. So it's something that you can browse the next time you go to a craft store. If you've never looked at scrapbooking brads before, they come in all sorts of colors and shapes and finishes. So it can be a fun thing to implement into a future project if it's not for kids. And that's all of my materials, so let's get to the instructions. Just so you know, I am checking every single video just to make sure it's still recording with sound. So far, so good. I've learned an important lesson. I'll never make that mistake again. I will charge this microphone before I plan to use it every time from now on. So for the ears, this is the only crochet of this video. You want to make a magic ring of 3 single crochet and then just tighten, finish off. Good to go. Make 2, of course. And obviously you may want to add more single crochet stitches depending on what kind of yarn you're working with, what kind of animal you're planning to create, like to figure out what works best for you. So you'll have 2 tails on your bear ears, your starting tail, your finishing tail. Stick them into 2 separate holes in the head and then just tie them off securely. Cut the ends short and just shove them up in there. I like to use a butcher's knot for stuff like this. That's my personal favorite. Use whatever secure knot that you like. So next, make the mouth. Like I said earlier, you might want to just embroider the whole thing. This is totally up to you, but I cut out a square and then I round that into a circle because personally it's too hard to just cut out a circle. I mean, I'm sure some people can do it. I'm not one of those people. So save the scraps that you cut off from the square. Next, you want to thread your sewing needle and do a running stitch around the outside of the circle. Then you want to pull the ends tight so that it forms, this shape, and it's, 3D. You don't want to pull it like all the way. You just want to make it so, you've got a squishy little mouth shape. Take your scraps from when you cut the circle out and kind of push those in. And if that's not enough stuffing, you can cut a teeny bit of yarn off of any nearby skein and shove it in there. Or if you got some random thread bits, just like shove whatever like soft garbage that you have just like in there if you need a little extra poof. And then once it's, the shape that you want, tie the ends off, and then you can embroider the shape of the nose and mouth that you would like. You can see how I did mine. It's like three strands or three, loops, whatever, for the nose, and then just loop, loop, loop for the little smiley face. So what I did next was I took my scissors and chop, 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 chop. I trimmed the fur on the front of his face and the ears because before it just kind of looked like a blob. You couldn't really tell that they were ears. It just kind of looked like, this like shapeless blah. So, you cut some fur in the center here, and then I just, kind of flattened out the face a little bit. You can see the difference. The long fur also makes it really hard to like sew things on and have it look neat. And it also will obscure the eyes, and like I said, it made the ears basically invisible. So just go in. It's gonna look good, I promise. Don't be afraid. And honestly, it would be really easy to just recrochet this. What did it take? 10 minutes maybe, if that. So just don't be afraid to get in there and get real artsy. And then also, once you've got everything like sewn in, glued in, whatever, you can go back in later and cut some more, trim some more fur if you need to. So don't feel like you have to be satisfied at this step. You can just go back and do more later. I know I did. So after the optional bear cut, that's when I sewed on this mouthpiece. Just use a ladder stitch the way that you would sew, if these were both crochet pieces, the way you would sew this to this, going in and out on this and then in and out on that. Just use ladder stitch, just normal sewing. And once the mouth is in place, you can play around with the eyes and figure out where you want those to go. Since I use scrapbooking brads, I just, you just stick them in and then you go in from the inside and you pull the prongs apart. And then, as I said before, once the eyes are in, go back in with your scissors and just do a little more trimming so that you can actually see the eyes. Again, if you're using like a yarn that's a lot less furry than mine, you might not have to do any trimming at all, but like the fur on this guy is really long, so it was definitely necessary. And once the eyes are in, that should be it. That's the end of your project, and you should have a little guy. I mean, will he be this cute? I don't know. This one's pretty great. He kind of looks like he'll show up at your house at like midnight and ask for cookies. But then if you don't give him cookies, he'll start screaming. But that's it for the tutorial. Hope it was useful, helpful, inspirational, maybe. And I hope you make your own little cute microphone guy. Like this video and subscribe for more. I'm gonna do some more microphone cover videos. I've got a mushroom already done. I just need to shoot, and I'm in the process of a frog because of course I'm doing a frog. Really, would you expect anything less? So yeah, follow for more and check out my website for both paid and free crochet patterns, and That's all I got for you. Bye.